So try and make your mouth extra hot by holding maybe coffee or water in your mouth for a bit. And then wrap your lips and your tongue around one of his love buttons. That's his lips, while putting ice on the other love button. Now, if you have feathers, use it lightly to tease that part where you've applied that temperature. And you know what's magical about this? It's the interplay again between the hot and cold, the known and the unknown, that makes temperature play so exhilarating. Basically, the true beauty of temperature play lies in the anticipation and in the surprise. It's about not knowing if the next sensation will send shivers down his spine with its cool touch, or it will warm him to his core. Ladies, are you ready? See, get ready to spark new passion in your marriage where you would be sending shivers of anticipation through your man's body and through the power of what I call temperature play. Is anyone ready to get naughty tonight? Because I am. I am ready. So let's have your likes right away, because I need these videos to go viral. Baby, I need it to go viral. And yes, let's get into it and talk about how we can explore the thrills of using temperature play in our bedrooms if you've never done it before. If you've never done it before, you're learning. You're still learning in this game. Because listen, mommy, not only are we going to show this man that we are great in the kitchen, in our various businesses, but we are notoriously bad for the versatility that we bring to the bedroom, for the unpredictability that we bring to the bedroom, to our sex life. See, when I finish with us ladies, before the year runs out here, your man will be running around looking for who taught you these tricks that he's been enjoying of late. Kachifo, are you listening to me? Now, here is the beautiful truth. I need us to first realize or understand that temperature play isn't just about the physical thrills. It's about trusting one another. It's about communicating openly and, just savoring the delicious anticipation of exploring something new together and at your own pace, with safety and with care and with trust. So if you're curious on how to turn your bedroom into a space of discovery, into a place of laughter, into a place of great connection and deep bond, then why not just infuse a little bit of ice and fire into the pleasure pot and make it lead the way to a more intense and passionate sexual experience for you and your man. Now, in case you're new to this, let me tell you what temperature play in the bedroom means. And nope, it has absolutely nothing to do with role play, right? It can, but it's just what it is, temperature play. Now, temperature play is a form of sensual or sexual activity that involves the use of various temperatures in order to enhance your man's arousal and pleasure during foreplay or even during sex. It basically involves the introduction of hot and cold sensation, because those are the two temperatures that we have, like ice cubes, warm oils, or body safe wax on any intimate part of your lover's body in order to just create different sensation for them. And the goal here is to stimulate the nerve endings. It's to heighten sensitivity and then just basically add some element of novelty to the intimate experience that you're going to create for your man. So by you using varying temperature on your man's intimate parts or on your man's body, you are actually going to transform his sexual experiences from ordinary to extraordinary. And in so doing, you'll find out that every touch becomes magical. Every touch becomes unpredictable. Every touch becomes electrifying and deeply connected, not just for him, but also for you. See, if you've never tried this before, try it today, mommy. Because best believe it when I tell you that the art of using temperature play in a bedroom is not just like what I said earlier, physical, but it is emotional. It is in the way it helps build anticipation for what's to come, especially when you blindfold your man and he just doesn't know what to expect. It's about the trust that he has for you, knowing full well that you will not hurt him in the process. And then it's the intimacy that feels different from what he's used to. Now, just imagine that sudden chill of an ice cube tracing your man's skin, followed by the warmth of your kiss on that spot where you place the said temperature, be it cold or hot, or the slow, deliberate pour of warm wax that could set his nerve endings on fire. See, just so that you know, or just so that you understand the impact of using temperature during foreplay, you need to realize that it creates a symphony of sensations that can heighten your connection with your man and open up new avenues of pleasure for both of you, especially if the acts have been feeling repetitive of late. You've been together for a long period of time and you've done so many crazy, freaky stuff together, but you haven't done this one. It could just change the dynamics entirely. So if you want to spice up things in a bedroom, my darling, this is one of the things that you need to use. This is one of the things that you need to incorporate in your bedroom. And you know what's magical about this? It's the interplay again between the hot and cold, the known and the unknown, that makes temperature play so exhilarating. Basically, the true beauty of temperature play lies in the anticipation and in the surprise. It's about not knowing if the next sensation will send shivers down his spine with its cool touch, or it will warm him to his core. Temperature play, again, is not about the thrills of mixing hot and cold temperature. It's also backed by science. See, when your skin encounters something cold, like an ice cube, the blood vessels constrict. And what happens then is that there is an heightening of sensation around that spot. And this process is called vasoconstriction. This makes even a light touch on that spot feel intense and electrifying. While on the flip side of the coin, warmth causes vasodilation, where the blood vessel expands, thereby increasing blood flow and making the skin more receptive to touch. So the contrast between hot and cold on your man's maybe love buttons will just basically stimulate the nerve endings in a way that will amplify pleasure and make each sensation more intense for him. So this is how you go about it, right? Make sure that your man is relaxed. First things first. And then he has had his bath and the lights are dimmed. Preferably just turn on the red lights. Plus the song playing on the background are soft and spicy. Remember earlier, I have said that temperature play makes a lot of sense when you play with its contrast, because cold is only half of the equation, but adding hot stuff into the mix makes it even better. Now, this is what I mean, right? When you try mixing two temperatures together, cold or hot, cold and hot, especially when applied close to each other, right? It will confuse the body. This would basically intensify the sensation that the body part feels. So try and make your mouth extra hot by holding maybe coffee or water in your mouth for a bit, and then wrap your lips and your tongue around one of his love buttons. That's his nips, while putting ice on the other love button. Now, if you have feathers, use it lightly to tease that part where you've applied that temperature. If you don't have feathers, then you can just use paint brushes. All right, paint brushes can do the same trick, can do the same magic. And also, you can use different kinds of brushes to change the sensation. And then there is the handle of the brush. Don't forget about the handle of the brush to run along the sensitive spot. And why am I just nailing on the brush? It's because the different texture of the brush will give him varying sensation, and it can be fun to explore, especially when you've wrapped that temperature around his sensitive part. If you have rabbit fur, it is also exquisitely soft. So you can also use sandpaper. The coarseness can also play an integral part of heightening the sensation, but you have to caress it lightly. You don't want to bruise him. You can also use any tool in your house. Just be creative, because I believe that there are many potential toys sitting around everyone's house. You just have to think a little differently. All right. You have rolling pins, you have tennis balls, you have pens, you have pencils. I mean, the possibilities are just endless. Now, another idea that you can use when playing with ice or cold temperature, you can pop an ice in your mouth, right? And the ice is in your mouth, you're kissing or licking a part of your man's body that is sensitive. You could just breathe out a puff of cool air on that spot with the ice in your mouth. But if that feels a little bit tricky to maneuver, then just pop an ice in your mouth for a few seconds, swish it around, and then spit it out into a cup or anything before getting into that sexy stuff. In this way, your lips and your tongue are chilled, but it's easier to make out or give, oral without worrying about, choking on the ice if it's in your mouth. Another trick is to run a small piece of ice directly over your partner's body. Just let it melt a bit in your hands first so that it can glide smoothly. Now, just because you think that it is cold, you decide to leave it on one spot. Don't leave it on one spot for too long, because it might just irritate the skin. So as to blindfolds and tying him down, that gets into the psychological aspect. Now, most people actually like to be scared to some extent, right? I mean, talk about horror movies, haunted house attractions, and, roller coaster. All of these things just provide people that delicious touch of fear in a controlled environment. So being blindfolded can do the same thing. It just heightens the sensation that a person feels, when they cannot see 10 times more compared to when they can see what's happening to them. So sometimes put a bunch of your play toys out on the table before you bring your man in to tie him down. This is so that you can let him see all of the things that you might be using on him. So he just has a mental picture of what's going to happen to him. Then you put the blindfold on him and let him think about all of the toys that he has seen. See, the anticipation can be almost as intense as the actual use of the toys, because you've already made him feast on what you're using on him, especially the ones that looks, funny. It's scary in a way. And then when you're playing with temperature, right, don't be afraid to explore the wonderful world of sensation play. Sensation play can just add so much to, a sexual relationship. Mind games can be a little riskier, but they are still great fun when care is taken. It just depends on what your partner can handle and what he cannot handle, all right? But you need to be safe, you need to ask questions, you need to explore and then have fun. Because truthfully speaking, giving and receiving pleasure is what sexual play is all about. And that would lead us to us talking about using hot candles, hot oil, or hot massage oil, whatever the case is. Now let's talk about drizzling your man's body with massage candle wax. Because some type of, sensation play can be as sensual as you pouring hot wax on someone's body, because it's steamy, it's wet, it smells great, and sometimes it can be really relaxing. Now, if you're going to use candle wax, it's very important for you to know that you have to use the candle wax that is explicitly meant for massage purposes and no other kind. Because if you use the normal candle wax, you will just burn that man for nothing. You will scar him. He will burn his skin. So note this, that there is a candle wax designed for this kind of temperature play. Understand that massage candles only heat up to a few degrees above, the human body temperature. So there is no risk that they will burn on contact when poured on the skin. It's not higher. It's not overly higher like the normal candle that you burn. It's just slightly above the human temperature. And the amazing thing is that the candle wax can also melt into a nice oil that you can on the spot use for sensual massage. And please keep things surface level and don't just generally apply it on genitals. Just stay clear from the genitals. And make sure that you keep a pack of baby wipes and some lube nearby so that if and when you decide to involve the private regions, you can easily clean off your hands and switch over. And it is best to not warm lubricants since they usually include glycerine, which can throw off the balance of your vaginal flora and, put any woman at risk for yeast infection if you're a man using wax on a woman. Okay. Another idea that you can use when playing with temperature is by teasing your man's body with a steamy fabric. You know that feeling of getting your clothing out of a dryer? A version of that on bare skin can be just super hot. And I am suggesting you warming that silky scarf. If you have a silky scarf, warm it up. You can pop it in the dryer for a few minutes. You can steam it or you can even blow dry it and then drape it along your partner's body, chest, anywhere. And this could just turn into a playful tickle fest. Trust me, he's going to be in his feels for you. Now, another option is to use it as a blindfold. That's the warm, silky fabric. Use it as a blindfold. Then get into the wax play that I just spoke about while your man can't see what's happening. And remember that the idea behind blindfolding is this. When you take away one of your senses, when one of your senses is being taken away, your other senses become way much heightened. Okay? So when you take away one of your senses, you make the others easier to access and you make them more intense to sensitivity. And this is what you need to make this experience more unforgettable for your man. Lastly, for the hot temperature play idea, you need to heat up an object, preferably a smooth surfaced object or maybe a toy if you have. But if you don't have, then that's not a problem. Any small metal household item can, serve a similar purpose for external use only. The key word here is external. If you want to use any item for penetration, stick to something made specifically for that purpose. For instance, I would recommend you using spoon. You can pop it in a hot pot of water or you could just run it on the tap, right? And once you're satisfied with the temperature, you could explore stroking your man's body with it. But also don't forget to squeeze a little bit of lube so that you have your man feeling that smooth sensation gliding over areas of his body. First start with less sensitive zones like his chest, his back, his stomach, his arms, and then you can work your way more to the erogenous spots like the hips, the inner thighs. Maybe, you're just circling closer and closer to the nips while you're still keeping him blindfolded so that his senses will be heightened. All right. So one last thing. Don't forget to laugh. After all, it is called temperature play. There is a play there. The play there is for a reason. It is not supposed to be serious. It is not supposed to be a quiet or whatever. It's supposed to be while you're doing it, you're having a conversation, trying to figure out how he feels, is if the temperature is okay for his skin. Okay? So communicate while you're doing this with him. Get to ask questions. Get to know if he's okay. If he's not okay, then you know what he tells you how and what he likes. Okay? So this is where we wrap it all up. And I am hoping that tonight you will get to a sex shop. Or I am hoping that today you will get to a sex shop, buy candle wax, all of those things that you can use. And then you can also put ice. You can form ice in your refrigerator. And when it's nighttime, you do something different. And when you're playing with ice, especially when you place it on his body, ice cube, it's definitely going to melt and water will pour on your sheets. Please find a Macintosh that you can use to cover and protect your sheets and your bed so that it doesn't go soaking wet, because after the play, you need to have somewhere to lie down on. You don't want to lay on a bed that is soaked with oil or with water. Okay, so this is where we wrap it all up. Try it and let me know if it made any sense. And if you've tried it before, please give me ideas, because I also want to have ideas so that I can torture my man, you know? All right, then, until I come your way, do know that I love you and God loves you best.